Yeah, welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Reviews and reactions. Let's go. It's the Brown Boy Wonder. Hold it down, representing for the culture. Every episode brings you closer into the mind and the heart of a hustler, where the truth and the groove collide. Stay tuned in, come enjoy the ride. Keep it authentic like that, never hold back. It's the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. The Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned in. The vibe's always on.
Brown Boy Wonder Podcast.
Welcome to the second annual of the spooky edition of the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Since it's spooky season, my guest and I are, of course, rewatching the Conjuring Universe for this month of October. Of course, let me bring in my guest, who is, I don't know if he's scared or not. I don't know if he is for this one. But it's Skyler. Skyler, how are you doing today?
I'm not scared. I'm sick. Last time I fought La Llorona and she got me sick.
Oh man, that's what it is.
She gave me an illness.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
I haven't asked you in a while.
Oh no.
Do you want to play hide and clap with me?
It's something about the way you specify with me that makes me want to say absolutely not.
Ah, damn it. It's fun. It's fun, man. You just do the clap and you do the hiding. That's easy.
Yeah, all right. You know what? I'll do the hiding. You do the clapping.
Oh, I'll do the clapping. All right.
No.
All right. Well, today's episode, we are gonna talk about, or gonna rewatch, or gonna talk about, of course, Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Which was released in 2021, directed by Michael Chavez, who directed, I believe, what was the last movie he directed?
He did La Llorona.
Yeah.
And then he did this one, Devil Made Me Do It, and then he did Nun 2, and I believe he's doing the next Conjuring movie. So he's become a big figurehead in this series at this point.
Absolutely. And for this movie, the story is by James Wan, the iconic horror guy, our guy.
He's back.
Let's get into the cast here. Of course, we got back our Warrens, Vera Farmiga, Lorraine, and Patrick Wilson as Ed.
The goats.
Yeah, of course. They carried this franchise.
Absolutely.
We got Rory O'Connor as Arnie Johnson, the main dude in this, the guy who got possessed in this movie. I
also don't know how to pronounce his first name because he's Irish and they pronounce things in a way that I can't.
Me either. We got Sarah Hook as Debbie, the girlfriend, I believe. Yes, it is the girlfriend. We got our Julian Hillard as David Gatzel. He's the kid from WandaVision.
Oh, is he?
Yes, that is him.
Which one?
He's one of the brothers. The
magic
kids.
one or the fast one?
Oh, I don't ask me. You're asking the wrong guy.
I don't know. It says I just went to his Wikipedia. It says he's Billy, but I don't know which one that is.
Well, he's the one, saying ice cream to.
They both sang
mom.
ice cream.
They
both sang ice cream.
It's my favorite part. We got John Noble as Castnier, and of course, we got Eugenie Bondurant as the cultist. Of course, you saw her in the beginning of this series. So what do you think now? Because you didn't know her before, or you don't remember her before.
All right. So, yes, now I remember the character of the occultist in this film, our primary antagonist, really.
Yeah.
when you got the spooky thing. I almost called it a cameo, but it wasn't a cameo. It was a spooky message from
From
beyond,
hell.
from hell. I didn't remember who she was, but now I do. And I still don't understand why she was making Tamatanga noises in the spooky message from hell. I don't get that, but
Yeah, she was going, yeah.
but you know what? I'm glad she was here.
Absolutely, man. For those who don't remember, here's the clip. That was the clip of Eugenie. So now we remember.
No, you played the wrong thing. That was Tamatanga.
Oh, okay. Now let me. Excuse me.
Now play the real clip.
Okay, here's the real clip.
Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I hope you conjure up a spooky and terrifying Halloween. Love the occultist.
Okay, now that was Eugenie.
Okay, yeah, that one was right.
Sorry for all those Tom Tonga fans out there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the core, at least. And of course, there's the other the family in this movie. We don't really need to mention them.
Nah,
But,
that doesn't matter.
Nah, we only need to know what's the name? The Irish guy, his girlfriend Julian, and the cultists. That's pretty much it.
Well, I
Right?
think I can't remember if it was on the Annabelle Comes Home episode where or if it was just in real life where we discussed and you were like, "Oh, I don't remember if we see Judy Warren again." But she's in this movie by a different actress. They aged her up because it's about like 10 or so years different.
Yes. They did. You're right. So this is the fourth
Judy?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it a different girl between Conjuring 1 and 2?
I want to say yes.
If it was two different Judys in 1 and 2, and then it was what's her name? McKenna Grace in Annabelle. And then now in this one it's a young lady named Sterling Jerrings.
Yeah, that's a different lady.
4 different movies, 4 different Judys. 5 different Judys if you count the real life Judy, which we talked about last time.
We saw her video. Yeah. No, that was someone else.
Okay, I don't know. Well, there's a lot of Judys out there.
There's a lot. Oh, I was thinking the Conjuring 2 girl. That's a different lady.
The biggest surprise for me in this movie's cast is John Noble. Denethor from Lord of the Rings.
You know,
our second Lord of the Rings alumni to show up in this series, right? I
Yes.
think just second.
He is.
Miranda Otto.
She's no man.
You know what other movie that we watched for this podcast that John Noble was in?
Which one?
He's the voice of the dragon spirit that appears in the Last Airbender movie. The dragon spirit that's not in the cartoon. It's just a dragon.
You played him?
It's supposed to be a combination of like multiple different spirit characters in that. And it's John Noble. How weird is that?
That's a good crossover. They should do Avatar and Conjuring crossover.
Okay.
Well, let's get into the budget here. What do you think the budget for this one is? Remember, this is this movie came out in the peak of COVID-19.
Oh yeah, this was a COVID movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, does this movie feel like a COVID movie to you?
I think the green screen could tell.
Definitely on that clifftop scene. That was
like
I was like in shock of how rough that looked.
It did.
But
after that,
I don't know. I'm not gonna guess this time. I'm gonna start putting my foot down and I'm gonna stop guessing because I feel like I'm bad at guessing.
No, you're close. I think last time you were close.
$50 million.
Okay, that's close. It's $39 million. And what about the box office?
Well, it went to HBO Max. So did it go to theaters?
It did go both.
Did you see it in theaters? I watched it
Yes.
on Max.
I was probably one of the only dudes out there who watched in theaters. I
Wow.
think.
So it didn't make money because 2021 was the year, not just where COVID, so everything is going to streaming, but HBO Max specifically had like this big push where they were like, all of our major Warner Brothers movies are day one on Max.
Yeah.
So 2021 was kind of the year that killed me going to the theater a bit. I mean, this year, now I'm back in the swing of it. I've seen like 40 movies in theaters this year.
Yes.
But yeah, 2021, I didn't see anything in theaters, and like the Suicide Squad went to HBO Max. Dune, the first Dune went to HBO Max. This did and then other worse things like Space Jam 2. Like it all day one on Max, baby.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to guess, because like they don't include subscriber count for box office. That's not what box office is.
No.
I'm gonna say this movie made $15 million in box office. Is that generous?
That is like very low.
Very low. Oh, so it made more than that.
Yeah, it made 206 million.
Went to the theaters for this. You did.
I did.
206.
I paid 206 million for this movie. No, I didn't.
206.
Yeah.
206 million. That's crazy for COVID time, is it not?
I think so. It is. But also, it's the third Conjuring movie, so there's a lot of fans out there, right?
Yeah, but people didn't go see Tenet.
I did. I mean, for this movie, I was wearing my mask. I was doing all the 6 feet distance. I did all that. So
yeah, I watched it at home on my TV with a blanket.
all I'll tell you, it's better in theaters. But
all right.
what is your initial thoughts of this movie, man?
Yeah. So I remember when I first watched it at home on my TV with my blanket, and I didn't pay $206 million. I was like, yeah, it was okay. It was good. I was like, cool, another Conjuring. This time around, I think it's safe to say it's the weakest of the 3 Conjuring movies.
I agree.
It starts very over the top. It makes it very clear, like, we're doing over the top stuff. We're not holding back. And then it tries to, like, I mean, they're all based on real life investigations that the Warrens made, whether not we play them up quite a bit, But the fact that it starts with a real one that led into an actual real life murder case that they were also like part of. It's kind of weird how over the top it is. It's almost the most fantastical of the 3 Conjuring movies. And that's saying something, because Conjuring 2 did some pretty like fantastic things, fantasy things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
well, it is different from the other 2 because this one's more public. Because usually the other 2 movies are more private when it comes to like possessions.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different.
I would stick by what I said and say this is the weakest of the 3, but it's not bad. I don't remember what rating I gave this, by the way.
Yes.
I watched this before La Llorona got me sick. So I have no idea.
I made a picture of all the Conjuring Universe movies. I have to check that, but yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, let's get into it, man. The movie starts off with how do you say the family's name? Is it Gatstil?
Glatzel, I think.
Glatzel. Yeah.
And yeah, again, real life family,
No.
real people, real case. So this exorcism, as they show they show audio at the end during the credits, as they do for most of these movies. This exorcism was a real exorcism, in quotes. I'm going to put alleged exorcism that the Warrens were a part of. This little boy. So the events that we see, that like the little boy was allegedly possessed, and then that demon allegedly jumped from the little boy to the guy, as Abrar was about to describe. Like, that's all what they really said in court happened.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers. I mean, that's the whole point of the Devil Made Me Do It trial, and like they're like, how are you gonna prove this in a court kind of thing. So that's interesting. Did they pull it off? Let's see. Abrar, take us there.
Well, the movie starts off with the Glatzel, not Gatso, but Glatzel house in a complete mess. The Warrens and the family are waiting for Father Gordon to do the exorcism. Arnie, that's his name, right? Yeah, Arnie. Arnie tells David that everything's gonna be okay while he tucks him into bed. David asked, when are you gonna marry my sister? Arnie is like, what? Come on, dude. No way. Arnie looks outside and it's the priest. And he recreated that shot from The Exorcism, or The Exorcist.
That was. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I mean, I get what you're doing, and it's just like, I feel like the imagery of him coming out of the taxi and he's got the briefcase and the hat exactly, like, that's reference enough. I don't think they need to linger on him. I mean, it's not like it was the same exact shot,
no,
but it was close enough where I was like, I see what you're doing, and you don't need to be doing it.
When I saw that in theaters, I pointed at the screen.
Oh, like Leo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
That's what I did. So, of course, we know Father Gordon. He's been here since day one, helping the Warrens.
Do you think he's related to Dr. Gordon from Saw?
Oh, good callback. You know? Yes, he is.
Okay.
He is Jigsaw. He is Jigsaw's father.
Oh.
Faja. Excuse me. Later, David hears some loud bangs. So he went to the bathroom and hides in the tub. Everything is quiet until David sees some fingers on the shower rod on top. He sees the faucet turning and then a shower of blood draining on David. My dude is screaming.
Yeah. You know how when we watched The Nun, the first one, I was like, this started as like a horror movie, like a gothic horror movie, but then by the third act, it just becomes an action movie, like The Mummy.
Yes.
I feel like this one already kind of starts us as not a horror movie. Like, obviously there's horror elements. There's a lot of horror elements. That's the universe we're in. But this is so, I already said the phrase over the top, but this is so like dramatic and camera shaking and big demon activity is happening. And then from here, we don't really go to that typical horror thing. It becomes almost like a Scooby-Doo mystery, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we never really hit that horror aspect that like Conjuring 1 or 2 had. It's different the whole way. Yeah,
there's like no setup to this event.
Yeah,
it goes straight into it.
Yeah, it throws us into this case, which ends up being the setup for the other possession. So I mean, in that aspect, it's fine. It works.
That's true. Well, the family comes in to help David, and they see David hiding. My dude stands up slowly and then starts running to stab his dad on his knee.
Low blow.
Dude, this is like knee blow. You don't want that. Yeah, what is wrong with this kid, man? Ed is like... Thank you. Well, Ed is like, Father Gordon, we gotta do some exorcism right now. They went downstairs. David starts to claw on the walls. They put David on the table. David starts to foam in his mouth. Oh man, what's going on? What's wrong? What's going on with this kid?
He's possessed, bro.
Oh, thank you. Father Gordon is saying all the Bible verses, all of them. Lorraine gets some visions from her interacting with this lady in the dark.
That's what she does, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't clear for her.
She should have known by the way the lady was going, yeah, who it was.
Yeah, exactly. Father Gordon splashes some holy water at David.
Oh boy, does he.
Yeah, and he starts to growl. By the way, his face has like acne bumps all over his face.
It's like the holy water is like searing his skin off, and it's like bubbling. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I don't want that.
The way that the kid's like body is contorting and twisting, and he's very sweaty.
Dude,
that's how I felt when I was sick. If I'm being honest, that's what it's like.
You were possessed.
I was just twisting around like a big pretzel, very sweaty.
All of a sudden, it was quiet, but then the dishes starts to fly from the kitchen. And
Did you laugh? Did you laugh when it hit the priest in the head?
Kinda.
Yeah, come on, you laughed.
Because it made that sound. It's like doink. The room starts to spin, and of course, we feel like we're spinning as well. Ed grabs the Bible and starts to read something in Latin. Nothing is happening. But David starts to laugh, or the demon is laughing. He starts to, of course, as you said, bend backwards as he's been pinned down on the table. Arnie says, "Oh no!" He starts to talk to the demon. He says, "Leave him alone."
Yeah,
Ed
Arnie,
is
don't
like,
do that.
Yeah, Ed is like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't talk to him.
Don't talk to the guy.
Yeah. David pushes Debbie, the girlfriend, and Arnie. Oh, and Arnie, and stood up like a lizard, and attacks Ed.
Like a lizard.
Yeah. When David like that scene where he's like when he got up, it was like that. It's like a little lizard, you know, or not a lizard, but it's like the way he got up from that pretzel.
I mean, you wrote lizard, so
I did. It looked like a lizard. I don't know. Yeah. David said, I'll stop your own heart, old man."
and then
Lorraine,
he does.
yeah. Oh shit, he does. Yes. Lorraine tries to help, but she's still getting visions from that lady in the dark. Arnie grabbed David and says, "Just leave him alone, dude. Just take me instead." We see Arnie and David's eyes kind of switch.
Here's. Would you tell a demon to take you instead of the little boy? Of a little WandaVision ice cream boy? Would you say, "Take me instead, little demon, little biscuit"?
If I really love her sister, then yeah. I love his sister, then yes. Hey man, love is blind.
That's a noble answer.
Yeah. I mean, also he's a kid. You gotta save a kid, right?
Yeah, that's what Arnie was thinking.
Yeah, I'm like Arnie. Ed, as you said, Ed starts to have a heart attack. And that's it. What's your thoughts on this family, man?
On the family?
Yeah,
they're screwed. Yeah, I've already said very crazy, over the top scene. I don't know, man. It starts us right in the thick of it. We go 100 miles an hour. Everything starts happening, and then we see the demon go into Arnie, leave the kid. The only one that notices it is Ed, who can't speak because he's dying on the ground. Immediately I was worried about Ed because I was like, "Oh no, did he die of a heart attack in real life? What's happening? Is this start of an arc, of a bad heart problem arc?"
Maybe.
And then I also noticed that Vera Farmiga, they gave her like weird old lady hair to match Lorraine in real life now, so she looks a bit older because of the haircut that they've given her.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It's just too bad. It's here.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be accurate, especially in this case. This because this happened in the '80s, so
Yeah.
we're getting an older Warrens.
They're getting older. They're getting
Yeah.
up there.
Especially next year, we don't know how they're gonna look. They're probably gonna look like how they look, not now, but like before.
We don't
Well,
know when the next
That's-
one's set.
That's true. Could be in the 2000s.
Well, as we said before, Ed in real life passed away in 2006. So
Yeah. So it could be in the 90s.
Mm.
Well, back to Arnie. We see him waking up with Debbie, and Debbie, and he says, "Debbie, let's get out of here." Debbie's like, "I just got a job, dude. Let me think about it." The family and Arnie are having some barbecue in the backyard. He enters the house to get something, but he hears some strange sounds.
Dogs.
Oh yeah, dogs. Yeah. A cereal box slipped by itself, and there was a rat in there. He followed the rat.
Oh, okay. You jumped ahead a bit.
Oh, what did I miss?
Not too far. You didn't miss
Okay,
really
okay.
anything. I was just thought you were still at the kennel.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, the
Yeah,
dogs.
they're having a barbecue, and he goes
Yeah.
inside, and then there's a rat in a cereal box. Has that ever happened to you?
No. Also,
Okay.
have you ever seen a big rat?
I have seen a big rat. I've seen multiple big rats. Is that not okay? Are you not liking that?
No, man. Because I was watching the show Survivor, and they're eating rats. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Shrek ate a rat.
Did he?
Yeah, in the first one.
Damn. I'm not a big fan of Shrek.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, somebody wants to work. Okay.
That's not how that goes. Anyways, no, I've been dealing with a big rat, and there's a not a rat, but a rather large mouse in my garage right now. I'm trying to catch him.
Dude, there was a mouse last year, and it was running around in the backyard, and it went to my attic.
Freaking mice, man.
And they pooped. They pooped in the attic.
Oh, they'll do that. Let me tell you.
Oh.
And
We
you know
killed
what? I just want to say that if catching mice was easy, there wouldn't be so many movies and cartoons about it. Because this thing is smart. It won't go in the trap.
Oh. That's true.
For those listening, it's a humane trap. I didn't get the killer traps. I don't do that.
No, that's good. I'm glad you did that.
Thank you. Let's talk about the gross hole in the wall that Arnie finds.
Yeah, he followed the rat in some hole in the wall. He peeks in for like a minute at least. He turns around and it's a lady. The lady grabs him. She then disappeared in the next shot. This lady just came out of nowhere.
Typical Conjuring behavior.
Yeah, I think we're so used to it now.
Hmm.
And there's other movies are trying to copy this type of format. Like Smile, but I think Smile did it better.
I haven't seen Smile 2 yet. I've heard it's quite good.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Father Gordon stopped by to check on the Warrens. Ed is in a coma, and Lorraine is there for support. And as you said, Lorraine's hairstyle is pretty much as the real Lorraine.
Kind of wacky.
Yeah, it's like huge, right? It's like this.
Yeah, it's tall. It almost
it's like Marge.
It almost does the Marge Simpson thing where it goes straight up and not down or back or anything like that. It just goes up.
Yeah. What type of conditioner or shampoo did she use?
The 80s.
Yeah, it's called
Not
the
shampoo
80s.
or conditioner. It's just the 80s.
In the 80s. Lorraine tells Father Gordon about Ed and how they met. Basically, they met at a movie theater. So anything's possible, guys. Anything's
what movie
possible.
were they seeing? Did she say? Something old.
It's in the 50s, right? So should be. You think it's a scary movie or a romantic movie?
It's probably a racist movie.
Batman Serial 40-7.
Oh, not that one.
that was bad.
Batman was saying some stuff.
He did. In the next morning, we see Arnie working on some. He's like cutting some trees because
I
it was
guess
split.
he's like a landscaper or some sort of I don't know
He's
what
a
he's doing.
freelancer, I think. He does anything.
Odd jobs.
Yeah,
Something just I'm gonna just take this chainsaw up in a tree for a bit.
yeah. Leatherface is not here though.
Leatherface couldn't climb a tree.
No, he's too big, right?
Yeah, he's pretty round.
Yeah, he's not. How is he running? He's not fit. He's not Jason.
Uh, he's like a linebacker. So maybe
Big
like
one.
cardio's not his strongest suit, but like he could close the distance on you.
All right. Well, behind Arnie, we see that same woman in which he encountered earlier by the window.
She's not
Yeah.
being sneaky either. She's just
No.
standing there.
Oh. He checks behind him, and of course, as I always say, no one is there. The chainsaw he was using starts to go crazy, and it dropped to the ground.
He drops it, and the other workers are like, "Hey, yo, whoa, well, forget about it."
Yeah, where are they? Are they in New York?
I don't remember.
Oh
Connecticut.
no, I think they're in New York, state New York. I think. I don't know.
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay,
Brookfield, Connecticut. I was correct.
there we
in
go.
What I said.
There we go. Well,
yeah.
Arnie.
He drops the chainsaw, and all the other guys are like, "Yo, Arnie, I'm walking here."
Yeah, absolutely. Arnie comes home, and Debbie and Bruno, who is the landlord, meets him outside. Bruno wants to have a beer with Arnie, and Arnie's like, "Not now, dude."
This Bruno guy. Okay. I don't want to spoil what's going to happen to Bruno, but I guess I have to for what I'm about to say. Bruno's not going to make it. All right. Bruno's the guy that's going to get got. Okay. And as mentioned before, this is a real life murder case that happened, a famous one. And the way that this Bruno dude was just walking around, being an asshole, spilling beer, being loud, he's just greasy in general. I was like, did the family of why was he like this in this movie? And I looked it up. Bruno takes the place of the real man, but Bruno is a made-up character.
Oh, okay.
So they're not really doing any disservice to an actual person who was murdered.
Okay, so it's
by
just
a man who claimed to be possessed.
So how was the guy who was murdered? How was he like a normal guy?
So his name was I have that here. So everything as depicted in the movie is mostly correct. Like the Debbie really worked at a kennel and all that kind of stuff. I lost the name of the guy. Is it really that important, though?
That's good.
The
What's
part
his name, man?
The part I'm looking, man. The part that surprised me was the fact that the as mentioned before, the exorcist of the little boy was a real part that they entered into the testimony. That's why Ed and Lorraine were part of it, because they were like, "No, we were there. The demon was there." Is his name Bono? Bono?
The U2 singer?
Is that his last name? Why can't I find it?
Maybe they're trying to keep it under wraps.
Well, no, I think it's I know that the guy was like the landlord. The guy that was killed. Johnson killed his landlord during the thing. His name may have been something Bono. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like Bruno then.
What a waste of time this was for me to look it up and say I don't really know.
That's all right. That's all right. Back to the Warrens.
Alan Bono.
Alan Barno. Well, shout out to you, man. You did not deserve that.
So they changed him to
Bruno.
Kind
of close.
Wait, maybe he was drunk and belligerent, and that's why he got murdered.
We'll never know because we weren't there. Back to
the point is they changed his name for
the
movie. They're like, yeah, this guy really died, but we're gonna use a different name. That's the point of this long ass fucking tangent. Pardon me. I'm still sick and tired.
That's okay. It's okay. La Llorona was in your ass, but it's okay.
Hey, you don't need to tell people about that.
Sorry. Back to the Warrens. Ed wakes up at the hospital and reveals that he witnessed a demon entering Arnie. He's like, "Oh no,
oh no!"
Not in that way, but like spiritually.
You don't know.
That's true. Arnie and Bruno are drinking together and listening to music. Arnie, I think he kind of like spaced out, and he sees Debbie and Bruno dancing together. He gets some water, but hears Debbie screaming. He checks out what's going on, and it turns out Bruno became like a demon. Don't worry, Arnie was just imagining that because, he takes away Debbie from Bruno, and of course we're noticing that Arnie is hallucinating. And sees demon Bruno starts to crawl at him out of nowhere. It's that scene where it's like pitch black, and he starts to like run after him. I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah.
But don't worry. Before he grabs him, Arnie pulled out a knife and stabbed him. The camera pans to the house, but we see Arnie still stabbing Bruno, the landlord. Later on, the police stops Arnie, who's walking outside covered with blood, and says, "I think I hurt someone." And it says,
I remember that from the trailer specifically.
Yes, that was the main part.
That's pretty good because he's just walking, and then the police roll up, and then he turns. We see he's covered in blood, and then the way he very nervously says, "I think I hurt someone."
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's good. They said Arnie stabbed the landlord 22 times.
Probably a bit excessive.
A little bit. All right. Well, with the support of the Warrens, his case becomes the first American murder trial where a demonic possession is claimed as a defense.
So that's a cute, fun scene where they're meeting with the defense lawyer. And they're like, "Lady, come on, there's a demon in him." And she's like, "That's ridiculous. I can't even if I believed that, how do I say that to a jury, to a judge, to a courtroom, to anyone?" And then Ed's like, "Well, listen, all right, come on over to our house for dinner. We'll show you some of the stuff that we've found. And if any of that might change your mind, then just take his case." And she's like, "All right, I'll come over for dinner." And he's like, "Cool, you can meet Annabelle." And then hard cut to them in court. She's sitting next to Arnie with a 1,000-yard stare. Did they lock her in the room and make like Annabelle come home happen again? They were like, exactly. "All right, deal with that." And now she's a believer.
Yes, that's what happened. It's a great scene. And there's one part, I believe it was in the trailer as well, where Ed is like, probably said the best line in the movie. He said, "I think it's time they accepted the existence of the devil."
Oh, yeah.
The line.
The way it was phrased made it sound like it may have been something that somebody really said during this trial. I'm not sure. But he said every time someone takes the stand or takes the oath, they admit their acceptance that there is a God because they swear to God.
Right.
Well, because of that, now it's time that they admit or accept the existence of the devil.
Yeah, that's good.
It's sound logic and it works for this premise. So hell yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. But yeah, as you mentioned, our lawyer has seen a ghost, has seen a demon. She's convinced. She said, my client pleads not guilty by reason of a demonic possession. Judge is like, shit.
And for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah. By the way, Ed is in a wheelchair. He's still recovering from that
It was a bad heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
So I guess we don't know. Timeline's a bit fuzzy. How long was he in that little coma?
I want to say 2 weeks.
Enough time for them to like, I don't know.
Something.
He's a little weak in the legs.
A little bit. The Warrens has to prove that the demonic possession for the first time after the incident, and Arnie's if it doesn't go this way, Arnie might get the death penalty if he's found guilty.
Yeah, it's another interesting thing that they point out, because Ed says, like, we've proven the existence of demons a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then the lawyer's like, yeah, to the church. Now you have to prove it to like the judicial system, the
That's
American
tough.
government.
It's hard to do that. The Warrens starts to check the tapes from the beginning. We see the Glatzel family moving in into the house for the first time. So we're getting some flashbacks here.
Ooh, the waterbed scene.
Yeah, so David goes into the room and he sees a waterbed. And have you ever used a waterbed?
They don't. I thought about this. Do they still make waterbeds?
I believe they do.
I can't imagine owning one now.
What
but
is the
I
purpose?
believe I never had one myself.
Mhm.
I don't know if I've ever slept on one, but like I have memories of like small child me, like oh, this person has a waterbed, and he's like, oh, jump on it, like, oh, that's cool, like whether an aunt or uncle or something like that, I don't know. But man, how do you sleep on a waterbed?
I don't know.
That's not supportive.
I think if you're a swimmer, I think you'll like a waterbed.
That's profiling.
Oh, that's my bad.
You're like, oh, I bet Aquaman would like it, bro. That's a little racist.
Actually, he would like it.
It's a little racially charged.
Well, Jason Momoa will sleep on anything.
Jason Momoa might like a waterbed, but not because he's Aquaman.
Oh, come on.
Because he's Hawaiian.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know. The point is, the whole time that this waterbed scene was happening, I was thinking of Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a kid that gets killed by a waterbed in that.
Not good. Well, David is playing around with it, and he tries to sleep on it, but here's some rumblings. We see a face inside the waterbed.
Ooh. It's a pretty good effect because obviously it's this big kind of like Ripley blue tarp plastic.
Yeah.
And it's not really see-through, but it's transparent enough that if there was something like right on the other side, you would kind of see the shape and color of it, right? And that's exactly what happens. Is this person's face like presses up from the inside of the bed. Spooky imagery. It's good.
It's good. David checks the waterbed to see something, but nothing's there. But he's feeling a little sus. All of a sudden, the demon's hand grabs David through the waterbed. David is terrified as we hear the tape. It was him encountering the demon for the first time. Back to the present. The Borns and Debbie checked that same waterbed room, but of course there's no waterbed. But Ed did not found water damage, but demon damage.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. He moves the rug where the waterbed was, and the wood is like disgustingly rotted and warped.
Yeah.
And the girl's like, oh yeah, water damage from the bed. And he's like, girl, that is not water, that's hell.
Absolutely. They want to see what's underneath the house. So Lorraine checks underneath, and she sees a lot of rats hovering around this particular area. She found a bag that is underneath the demon damage, and she discovered is a witch totem through which is a satanic curse is passed.
Not good.
Yeah, as the Warrens explained to Debbie that Arnie was cursed, Ed said that the possessed individual takes a life and the demon departs. Excuse me. Individual takes a life and the demon departs, and that's why Arnie was able to read the Bible afterwards. Afterwards, so when they were explaining in the interrogation room, it's like, oh, I can't. He could read the Bible, but because of this weird
Because
curse,
the demon
he
wasn't
can do
there.
it.
Yeah.
So they think whoever cursed David used the totem to bring the demon.
Oh boy.
The Warrens meet our guy, our John Noble, Castnier, a former priest who studied the disciples of the Ram cult.
I didn't even realize until just now because I didn't like that movie, I guess. But Disciples of the Ram, that's the Annabelle cult.
It is. I remember now because we talked about it.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, everything is coming in full circle here.
Yeah, when watching the movie, it didn't even faze me. I was like, okay. But then just now, I was like, wait a minute.
Are they real cults? Because now I'm scared. What if they listen to this podcast?
I don't think so. Well, I'm not going to challenge their existence. They might be a real thing. But even if they're not, don't worry, Abrar. I'm sure there's a different cult that does listen to this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey, they're like, oh, disciples of the Ram cult. It's like, oh no, they're Los Angeles football fans.
Oh yeah, that's true. Or it could be Seth Rollins' disciple Buddy Matthews.
He doesn't go there anymore.
No, he doesn't. And Seth Rollins is not a Messiah anymore. All right.
But Buddy Matthews is part of the House of Black, and
that's a cult.
And it's a cult, and Malachi Black has that big. It's not a ram's horn crown, but it's like a deer antlers crown.
It's kind of the same.
Sure.
Our priest tells them that an occultist had intentionally left the totem.
Oh, the occultist.
Yes, resulting in a curse on the Glatzels and David's possession. Yeah, the priest said the priest showed his evil room, like the Warrens, how they keep their evil stuff in their room. And Lorraine says doesn't like this room at all. She hates this room. She's feeling it.
Yeah, it's also really messy.
Yeah, you gotta clean it up. What's wrong with this guy? We see Arnie mopping up the floor in jail, or it's like a mental institution, I guess. He's
probably held in some sort of medical. Well, because he was like, I didn't do it. It was a demon.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to say that's exactly the same as an insanity plea, but I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're going to put him with all the other people that do insanity pleas.
Might as well. He dropped his mop bucket for some reason, but then his bucket moved and the lights turned off. The guy who was sleeping in his bed sits up and starts to sing to Arnie. He says, "I know."
Being a bully.
For real, he says, "I know where you are coming," and he smiles.
Yeah, he's singing. So earlier, when Bruno was being drunk and belligerent and had Arnie fix his radio, he's singing the song that was playing on the radio.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Was he singing that Bruno song from that Disney movie?
Encanto?
Encanto, yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
like,
I haven't seen Encanto.
me either, but I know that song.
I don't know
Um,
that song.
Something about Bruno.
No,
Forget it.
he's probably singing the Abano song
Oh, right.
from the U2 album that U2 put on everybody's iPhones without their permission.
What was the song called? Damn, I'll remember. Don't worry, because it was very popular. Resident in my mind. Resident Evil. The
Ooh.
demon grabs Arnie right behind him, and he disappears. There's a scene of that woman who terrorized Arnie doing some ritual stuff.
She'd better stop it.
Yeah, well, that's enough of that. When the Warrens received notice that the detectives from Danvers, Massachusetts, found a similar totem in the death of Katie Lincoln, who was also stabbed 22 times. They traveled there.
Now, was that a real? Is that a real life murder case as well?
Maybe. I want to say yes because of the story.
I'm gonna say no,
Okay.
but it'd be because it would be wild if this movie is already fitting into the Warrens universe. Like, okay, and then they did the "Devil Made Me Do It" trial, and we're obviously in this world. The devil did make him do it, or the demon made him do it.
Yeah.
But then if they just randomly co-opted another real life murder unconnected into it, be like, oh, that was part of it too. That'd be a little offensive, right? So surely this isn't real.
I guess not. Yeah, that's true. Because they'll have to show us their case as well in the end credits. I don't know. Well, on the drive to the other case, Lorraine told the detective that, I met Elvis as the song was playing.
She's lying. She's lying. Unless she means that she met her own husband in The Conjuring 2 when he sang the Elvis song.
Maybe.
Is that, I'll accept that.
Okay.
But other than that, no. You did not meet Elvis, you liar. She's like, oh, I met him when he was alive and after he died. Shut up, Lorraine.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, the detective said, like, before or after he died? She's like, before and after. The cop was scared. He's like...
He's like, get me out of the car with these white people.
Debbie and David meets Arnie during presentation. David is telling his experience with the demon to Arnie, and the demon just tells you things. He says, pretty scary.
Yeah, David, you're not possessed anymore. Be more helpful than that.
That's true. He's a kid. He's just singing ice cream. Back to the Warrens and the cop. The totem was found at the home of Katie's friend, Jessica, who is missing. Lorraine learns through a vision that Jessica had murdered Katie while possessed before jumping to her death. Let's get into the scene here. Or her vision.
Green screen scene?
Yes. It went from day to night, and Lorraine sees a hand holding on a tree. It was very quiet. Katie and Jessica pops out of the tree, and Lorraine starts to follow them. After Jessica gives Kate a bracelet, she stabs her, and Lorraine is copying what she's doing, of course. So she's like copying what what's her name? Was it Kate? I don't know which lady did it. Is it Katie or Jessica? I think it's Katie. Katie was stabbing Jessica. No.
I thought Katie got stabbed.
Katie got stabbed, yes.
Jessica did the stab.
Jessica was the stabber. So
Yeah.
she was copying Jessica. She stabs her, and Lorraine's copying her. Lorraine is stabbing her 22 times.
22 times again, exactly the same?
Yeah. Also, my birthday is on the 22nd, so I'm kind of scared right now.
Oh, like this is some sort of long leg situation.
Oh,
The
let me
Disciples of
in.
the Ram.
Yeah,
Disciples of the Ram who listened to this podcast.
let me in now. Mommy! Okay, let me. For those who don't have not seen Daddy
Go
Long
see
Legs,
Watch
Go
it,
see
rent it. It's good.
it's a good movie. Also, watch Smile 2. That's your back-to-back horror movies. If you're now going to watch the Conjuring Universe, watch Daddy Long Legs. Long Legs and Smile 2. That's it.
Sure.
Lorraine follows. I said Jessica on the edge of the hill. We go back to Lauren, and she's in the same position. Ed is right behind Lorraine. The demon grabs Lorraine off the hill and drags her, but Ed catches her and brings her up. Yeah, so of course we have mentioned multiple times that the background CGI was horrible.
Pretty bad.
That's the only thing, because Ed's face is like does not match what's behind him.
It's I don't know. This must have been a reshoot, which is weird because I remember this being in the trailer as well.
Yes, it was.
And they were really in the woods for at least part of it.
Yeah.
So the fact that they had to couldn't come back on a weekend, we had to do it in studio or something on green screen. It's a little odd, a little weird. You know what this cliff kind of looked like? This cliff looks like well, there's a dam too. Is this a very specific spot in like Connecticut or something?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a bunch of spots in horror movies specifically that I feel like I've seen this exact cliff in. One of the more recent ones is In a Violent Nature. That one very specific kill on the cliff.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of looks like that.
It kind of looks like that, yeah.
There's that cliff that all the kids jump off of in the It movies.
Yes. When they're trying to do like a cannon bomb thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's supposed to be in Maine, but I don't know where they filmed it.
Or Speak No Evil with James McAvoy.
Yeah, they jump off a cliff in that as well.
Yeah, so don't jump off of cliffs because you might die.
Yeah, these cliffs are haunted. There's lots of cliffs like these in movies, and they're all haunted. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I mean, there was no haunting in Speak No Evil, but it doesn't matter.
It does not matter at all. Well, James McAvoy was possessed. That's what I think. Because he was a bloody.
You do not think that.
Fine. I did not, because he was a bloody doctor. Later that night, the detectives recovered the body. The Warrens received a phone call from the motel that Arnie is going to kill himself from Debbie. We see Arnie and Father Newman praying. Newman's the guy we saw in the interrogation room, praying, but he gave him something. And that something was holy water.
Thanks.
We see Arnie in his room acting like Bill Skarsgård in The Crow, acting very Skarsgård-y. Yeah, he starts to pray with the holy water he got.
He does. I'll give you this. He kind of looks like Bill Skarsgård here.
Yes.
You're often very wrong about these kinds of things. He kind of looks like Bill Skarsgård here.
I was feeling it.
And in The Crow, he was in a room like this at least one point. So
a little bit. The Warrens breaks into the morgue to see the recovered body. Lorraine grabs the hand of the lady and tries to get the vision, but nothing was there until we get a connection. She witnessed the cultist attempting to make Arnie kill himself, but she stops her, causing the occultist to become aware of Lorraine's presence. Thoughts on this scene, man? Here is your occultist.
Yeah. Thoughts on this scene? I don't know. I don't really have any.
Well, the cultist is like, how are you doing this, Lorraine?
Yeah, okay, all right, here's a thought. It's kind of like that bit in The Last Jedi where Rey and Kylo Ren are talking to each other through the Force.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what they're doing.
All right. Because connection works both ways.
Yeah, my thought is, how do you feel about the big fat zombie standing up? And running.
Man, once you watch Smile 2, you'll get my fears of these gentlemen.
Big fat dead people?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. We see Ed alone because Lorraine is trapped on the occultist side, and Ed is of course, as you mentioned, with someone, the big wet dude. the naked man turns around at Ed and
Ooh.
and
That's-
yeah.
Okay, so you know how they didn't make the crooked man?
Yeah.
What if they make the naked man?
No. I'm not watching that.
The naked man.
No way. The dead body. Oh yeah. The dude was running after him, but Lorraine lets go of the dead body, and the naked dude just fell on the ground.
Breaks the connection thing.
Yeah.
I think the rules on what the occultist can control are a little fuzzy for me. Like obviously they established that connection has to be there for her to, but so the occultist summoned the demon.
Yeah.
She made the little totem and put it in a place where the demon would use it to latch on to somebody, and then the demon latched on to the kid, then jumped to Arnie, and now the occultist. So that's why Arnie killed Bruno.
Yeah.
Not Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh no.
So that's good. The occultist wanted that, but now the occultist wants Arnie to kill himself. Did they say why? So like he needs to kill somebody and then himself, and then the demon's happy, and the occultist gets what?
To be alive.
She's part of the Ram cult.
Yeah.
It's just I think by the time that we get to the end of the movie, I think all this like what it leads to kind of confuses me. Maybe I missed something. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
But so the Lorraine makes the connection by touching the dead thing, and then the cultist is like, "Oh, I can see you too," and so she makes the dead body get up. But how is that still the demon she summoned?
I think so. I mean, I think she works both ways, right?
Because that's the strangest thing to me about this film, and kind of what I don't know where to draw the line, because in Conjuring 2, our villain was the nun who was controlling Bill Wilkins, who was another ghost, and etc. And then we learn how powerful the nun is in other movies. But like the occultist, I guess we don't know it yet, but spoilers, she's a real lady. She's just a human who is doing cult stuff. So she herself does not have powers.
No,
she's using the occult to summon the demon who's doing the things. So I just don't understand how she did that there. And it gets to a point where I need to be like, well, it doesn't matter. Let's just move on. But I don't know. I'm trying to connect dots here.
Maybe she's using the curse to her own benefit. Maybe that's how she's doing it.
I mean, she's made a deal with the demon to have certain abilities, which may or may not bite her in the ass later. I guess is what we'll say.
I guess so. A book of witchcraft states that for the curse to be lifted, the occultist's altar must be destroyed.
I mean, if she's doing witchcraft, like, maybe she does have certain powers. I don't know. Because you could say that using witchcraft and totems to summon a demon is, in a sense, using powers, right? Like, you just have to know how to do it. I don't know. Spider-Man, how did Ned open the portal? Just because he could. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine.
It's all right. Well, Ed is affected by the curse when the totem is discovered in Warren's house. We see Ed in this house, walking in the dark, and the door opened, and he goes to it and sees he had broke in. He sees Lorraine beads on the ground and sees the occultist. The occultist was impressed with Warren's stuff, but she disappeared because he sees some naked zombie attacking him.
The naked man.
The naked man.
I'm going to add the naked man to the list of monsters.
Oh yes, please. Do you still have the whole list?
I've got the list.
All right, we'll list them in the next episode. But Ed tries to exorcise him, but
He has to because he's big and fat. Can't
yeah,
exercise.
can't. He almost stabs Lorraine, but is stopped by their assistant, Drew. Shout out to Drew.
Yeah, is Drew living here right now? What's up with Drew? Because Drew's more of a character in the first movie. And
Yes.
he shows up in the second one for like a minute. He's not really in it, and then now he's just kind of around here. And he's like, I've always been here. I don't know. I don't know what Drew's deal is.
He's always with the Warrens, but whenever they need him, whenever they need him, they'll call out Drew.
Well, I'm glad he's
Also the same actor from the first one too.
yeah.
First Conjuring.
It's whenever Drew appears, it's always the same guy.
Yeah, not Judy.
Nope. Whenever Judy appears, it's always a different girl.
Yeah. They were gifted flowers by someone in the house, and the flowers are black.
Oh man, Ed was pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, that skank was in my house, and he's like throwing furniture and he's looking all around. And Clever. Earlier, when Ed was recuperating from his heart attack, people were sending him flowers. And actually, there was a cute little reference. They were like, oh, this was sent by the whatever family. I don't remember what it was, but it was the family from the first Conjuring. I remember. I looked it up.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, and then
The Perrin family.
yeah, that was them. And then so all the flowers, and there's just one vase where the flowers are black and dead and falling apart, and he smashes it, and there's another totem.
Yeah.
Good reveal. I like that.
It's good. Both Drew and Ed are trying to figure out where the cultist is at. They concluded that she must have lived by the river. Uh-oh. We know that Father Kastner lived by the river.
Oh, that little lying bastard.
Hey man, that's the guy. He was eating those
Cherry
those
tomatoes.
berries. Yeah, and Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, he was.
He's like, and I think it was Mary Pippin was like, oh no.
Pippin had to sing.
Yeah, great singer. I wish he can sing me to bed all the time.
All right, yeah, okay.
All right, good. Lorraine travels to meet Father Kastner for assistance. Also, he died horribly in Lord of the Rings. He fell
Denethor?
on fire. Yeah.
That is probably the most over-the-top death in that series, which is saying something.
Yeah.
But then one of the maybe top 10 over-the-top deaths in cinema.
Yeah, I believe so.
Just the way that he lit on fire and how far he ran, specifically just to jump and fall to his death, like a mile to his death.
He was losing it because he was about to burn his own son.
Oh yeah.
This guy.
Now we're just talking about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's a good saga.
Very
The best trilogy of all time. I don't care who anybody says.
No, I'm trying to think if there's anything better. I'm gonna say I agree.
Yeah, it is. It has to be from top to bottom.
Because what would even come close?
Star Wars, but I wouldn't even say Star Wars.
Indiana Jones. But does that count as a trilogy anymore?
No, it's a saga.
Yeah. So
Matrix.
that's definitely not a trilogy anymore.
Oh yeah, there's four.
What about Back to the Future?
I said this from day one.
Oh no! I forgot. You've never seen Back to the Future.
Yeah. I seen the first one, and I saw the second one where he was in the desert, but I didn't see the whole. Oh no, that's the third one. But I haven't seen the whole thing. But don't worry, I will watch it. We mentioned this last time, but I have not seen it.
Well, I think the answer is still Lord of the Rings, regardless.
Yeah, I agree. Rush Hour? No.
You just said that because I've never seen Rush Hour.
Yeah, thank you.
And I never will.
Back to our top 5 movies. That was the second episode. Everyone check out that. A comedy movies, I believe.
Good.
All right. Lorraine travels to meet Father Kastner for assistance. To talk about more of that witchcraft book. Ed is leaving and trying to rescue Lorraine. But guess what? As Kastner reveals that the cultist is in fact his daughter, Isa,
God.
he has secretly raised her in violation of the requirement of the celibacal celibacy in the Catholic Church.
I'm going to assume that second word you tried to say was celibacy.
That word.
I don't know about the. Priests aren't supposed to have kids, but he did.
Yeah,
That's the trick.
yeah. Same with nuns, right?
Yeah, they're also not supposed to do that.
Damn. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. What about our girl in the nun? She was having
So nuns are supposed to be married to God, to the Lord.
yeah.
So and so you don't marry a man and then have kids with a man. You definitely don't have kids without not your husband, and your husband is God. So no,
All
you're
right.
not doing that.
Yes, not, unless you're like Jacob Fatu, where he says, "Solo, I love you." Anyways,
That's just a nonsensical reference. People aren't connecting the dots there at all. It's getting harder and harder to stay on track in these movies. We need this spooky rewatch October to end for the love of God.
But yeah, so as he researched the cult, Isa grew fascinated about it and became an occultist.
Yeah, if you're researching an evil cult and you have a whole evil cult room,
yeah,
maybe that's the room we don't let our daughter go into. Like that's the room we're just like, all right, this one's off limits. This is daddy's work. Don't go in there.
absolutely.
Don't start reading my evil demon books. Don't start playing with my evil demon totems.
Well,
Don't start listening to my evil demon records.
no.
Don't watch Longlegs.
What about Judy? Remember, she reads her dad's, files from Annabelle Comes Home.
So the occultist is the evil Judy.
Oh, now I like this movie.
That's what it turned it around for you, did it?
Yeah, I might have to rank it up a little bit, maybe. Okay, so he leads Lorraine into the tunnels underneath the house where her altar is, but Isa kills her father and then curses Ed and Arnie, causing Ed to try to kill Lorraine and Arnie tried to kill himself.
This reminded me of X-Men 2, where Cyclops is under the control of the serum and he's trying to fight Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
No.
This is like other movie.
It is. Well, I think X-Men 2 is always a good movie.
Hell yeah, it is. X-Men 2 is great.
Probably the best movie out of the X-Men series,
Ever?
except for the first one.
Better than Lord of the Rings?
No, that's different. Isa, the occultist, sliced her dad's neck out of nowhere. Kabam!
And lights him on fire and makes him run.
Oh my goodness. Basically, might as well. The scene where she sees herself in doubles was pretty cool. Do you remember that scene?
No?
Where she where the occultist was looking at the mirror and then she was seeing herself.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The way the occultist was talking to Lorraine was the same way she did on Cameo. Now we're scared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ed regains his senses when Lorraine reminds him of her love when they first met and destroys the altar, saving Arnie as well. Isa is killed by the demon and she's summoned after failing to complete the curse. Thoughts on this ending, man?
So I think at this point, everything I was questioning earlier of like, what powers does she have? What powers does the demon have? Where does the line draw?
Yeah.
I think I'm just accepting that she was feeding this demon, which in turn gave her powers to do spooky things. And now that she didn't feed him this one guy this one time, it got her instead. Sure. Pretty gnarly death for her.
Yeah.
And we gotta talk about these tunnels, man. There's so many because John Noble earlier is like, oh, there's tunnels on the property, and she lay there. Maybe she's being spooky down there in the tunnels or something. I don't know. Insane. This is like barbarian tunnels almost.
It literally is.
This massive network of like underground tunnels. All right, maybe saying barbarian's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's like you know, at the final battle in Skyfall, where there's tunnels like under the farm, and
Right.
stuff, or a different reference because I have many. In Better Call Saul, when they try to get Lalo, and
Yes,
he's
yes,
got those
yes.
tunnels.
Yeah, it was like that. The reference.
Yeah, you know, I'm full of them.
Well, Arnie
Who
was
dug
going.
these tunnels? That's what I want to know.
I can't.
And it's
say
not the
for sure.
demon. It must have been John Noble because he was like, "Yeah, those tunnels are there."
Is John Noble and her daughter, so they're building those tunnels over time.
That's just, come on, man. He was asking for his daughter to be a spooky occultist.
I think that's what he wanted. Well, yeah. So Arnie was going through it. They kind of recreated the ending of The Exorcist or Amityville Horror
Close.
with Ed trying to kill Lorraine and Arnie being possessed. Our occultist got twisted and stabbed because the demon needed a soul.
If we're talking about recreating endings, I mean, yeah, they're trying to like do the exorcism on Arnie in the hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's getting like biblical over there. There's super bright white lights coming through the window and like wind, and that priest is so in over his head he doesn't know what's going on. But if we're talking about recreating things, the way that I won't say possessed because that means something else here, but mind controlled Ed was chasing Lorraine around.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he doesn't walk so good because he was in that wheelchair and he had a cane for a bit.
Yeah.
And he picks up a sledgehammer, which is different than an axe, but the way he was holding it and the way he was dressed and the way he was hobbling and chasing Lorraine, that's The Shining. So
Honestly, yeah. They're doing all of that.
So yeah, they've homaged The Shining, they've homaged The Exorcist, they've homaged a lot of stuff in this movie.
Do you mind it, or do you think it's like it's kind of whack?
Well, I don't mind it inherently, but I also don't think it fits really. I mean, him, the way he's chasing her in this movie, it fits what's happening, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I think the priest getting out of the taxi dressed like, you know, the priest from The Exorcist and the shot, I think that's gratuitous, and it's like, well, you're just taking a moment to look at the audience and say, remember The Exorcist? Yes, I do. Thank you.
Well, didn't, and remember in Insidious, Red Door, didn't Patrick Wilson also trying to kill his son?
Yeah, he was going through some stuff.
Same movie.
Same movies, same series. James
Crazy.
Wan, you hack. You made the same series twice.
Yeah, you thought we didn't notice? We noticed now. Well, at the end here, Ed places the cup of the from the altar in Warren's. I just make Lorraine and Warren. The Warren's artifact room, along with the Valak painting and the Annabelle doll.
I think it's really funny that in the first movie, it's very much the room of artifacts is treated like, this is spooky and it needs to go somewhere, so we're going to put it here because we know what to do with it. Like, we know how to keep it here. It'll be safer here. But as the movies continue, it very much just was like, I need a trophy. I just need this.
It's like
throw it in the collection.
It's like a Xbox or PlayStation trophy you get during the game.
Basically.
Oh.
You didn't talk about how Ed smashes the big stone table like Cody Rhodes smashed the Triple H throne.
There you go. This is pretty much the same.
It's big slow motion. The table shatters.
It's good. Arnie is convicted of manslaughter and serves a sentence of 5 years. But guess what? He marries his love of his life, Debbie, while in prison.
That's another thing, right? So we're told you better prove this kid was really controlled by a demon, or else he's gonna get the death penalty.
Yeah.
And they stopped the occultist, but I don't think they really proved shit. And he gets 5 years for murder. That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's not a death penalty, right?
No. No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying your options are death penalty, and we'll give you 5 years. It's like, whoa, not even life, not even 20 years. I mean, in the context of the film, we know he was really possessed and he didn't do it. So, yay, it's a happy ending. I don't know though, dude. It's kind of a big jump between we're gonna kill you to 5 years.
Yeah. Well, it's okay because we see Lorraine and Ed dancing in the gazebo, just like how
gazebo. Yeah, they did mention that earlier. They in the flashback they were in the gazebo in the rain.
So they did the same thing, kind of, and then that's how you ended Conjuring 3.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the demon the occultist was controlling not having like an actual form that we see? Because when it kills her, it's just a demonic version of her. That's what we see.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the naked man.
Yes.
But it's not like the Annabelle demon that we see, or the Valak, the nun that we see. Like, she has many forms, but the one we know is the nun. Like, we don't really get like a. Is it thematic? Is it being a evil version of herself? Is that a theme somehow that I'm too sick and tired to delve into or pick up on?
No, it's because we're so used to those demons, right? Forgetting this type of villain arc was not satisfying. I think that's the right term because we're expecting someone like a demon, but this is like something else. So maybe that's why this movie's not great.
I'm not saying that I have a problem with the villain being a person.
Yeah.
But I guess it just doesn't quite. If you stack up all of, and we will in the next episode, you stack up all of the ghosts and demons and evil things that we go through in this series, she's the one human.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, I think that's why it's not. That's why it's the least favorite Conjuring movie.
I just think it's the least well-made Conjuring movie. I mean, of the Conjuring series, like the actual Conjuring ones, not the whole universe.
I think it's because it's like it's too open, as I said before. Because usually the other two movies are more intimate with the houses. Because they're more known for the houses. This is more like an action movie ish.
Yeah, it's because in the first two, really, it's we need to do everything we can to help this family, and that's why the second one's the best one because Ed and Lorraine build that strong relationship with the girl that's being possessed.
Yes.
And in this one, it's we were helping this family, and then this guy got now this guy's in trouble, and the world is watching. But we don't really get the sense in the movie that the world is watching. Now, obviously, the world was to an extent because this is a famous thing and people know about it. But it doesn't really feel like I don't know. I mean, there's that pressure of like, you better help this kid or he'll get the death penalty, but
Yeah.
there's not that pressure of like, the things we do here has massive ramifications for how the world perceives paranormal events, which I feel like they really could have leaned more into.
I agree, but they didn't.
They did not.
But dude, I forgot how the first Conjuring end credits were, or the after credits. Forgot that.
Yeah.
But I remember the second one because remember the mom didn't throw away that chair and she died on
did
the
not
chair.
throw away that chair.
But this one, man, this after credit here, I think it's the most scary. Again, all these after credits are scarier than the whole movie, and we get a tape of David being possessed. I'm not gonna show it here because I feel like it's too haunting for me, at least. But
Also,
we'll
probably copyrighted by Warner Brothers at this point.
They copyrighted his possession.
I mean, they put the tape in the movie, so I feel like if you show it, they're gonna be like, "Hey, I don't know."
No, I don't know. That's kind of weird though. But yeah, I'm not gonna put it anyways because I don't feel good about it. But yeah, if you guys are interested, go on YouTube. It'll be there. Let's get into our interesting facts for here. It's really quick. Lorraine, who played by Vera Farmiga in the Conjuring movies, died a natural death, age of 92, on April 18th, 2019.
Yes.
She was the head consultant of all the Conjuring movies projects and an avid follower of the series.
Yeah. So you're saying last time we talked about because Annabelle Comes Home was attributed to her. You're saying it was a bummer she didn't get to see this one.
Nope, she did not see.
And
her
I was like,
last
do you
movie.
think she cared?
I think she cared. I mean, it's still a movie about her, right?
She probably would have been like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, 92 also long life.
They would have shown the scene of them in the gazebo, and she would have been like, oh, that's lovely.
Actually, yeah, I think that's why they put that scene in there just for her. But yeah, 92 long life, especially talking to demons, kind of crazy. James Wan remarked that with the Conjuring 3, they wanted to get out of the haunted house setup, which was the subgenre for previous two movies. The third one here takes a major turn in this regard. So he wanted to get out of the house.
Yeah. And you were questioning if that's good for this movie or if it was to its detriment.
I'm glad they did it, but I wish they did it better. A little bit. As we mentioned, this movie came out in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. And that's it. I do have a video of behind the scenes on this movie, so let's watch that.
Holy shit. Wait, I've just made a discovery. I have an interesting fact that I just noticed. In the credits, and I have to change this now in my notes. There's an official name for the Naked Man.
Oh no! What's the name?
I don't know if I said this in this episode, but I was thinking when I was looking at him, and now it says it in the credits. He's referred to as the linebacker.
Well, he is a big wet.
He's a big boy, like how Brock Lesnar said to Keith Lee, "Big boy,
big boy." Oh man, well, that's good. That's good to know. Well, here is the behind of the scenes of Conjuring 3. So let's watch that.
Oh, what's a 3-hour video? Everyone strap in.
Let me do a little this.
Oh my god, the whole thing?
Yes.
12 minutes long.
It's very interesting.
All right.
Okay.
Are you gonna play this in the episode? Or are you just gonna put a link to it?
No, I'll play it.
You're just gonna play someone else's video and you're.
Well, okay. This video is from Mayhem Mendez.
Surely it's probably ripped from the Conjuring Blu-ray or something.
Something like that. But yeah, let's watch it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Right.
There's a bad CGI there.
This case,
The Devil Made Me Do It case. It was an infamous, internationally renowned case.
Yeah.
A trial of Cheyenne Johnson.
Yeah.
Which was, I believe, the first time
They're
in the
gonna
history
explain it better than we
the
did.
court of law in the United States that the council tried to claim
that demonic possession was used as an alibi, as a reason for committing what ultimately became manslaughter.
I really wanted Conjuring 3 to be something a bit different, like get us out of the house, so it's not just
I know this,
a
and I've
traditional
always
haunted
known
house
this,
story and how
but
Lorraine
it always
and Ed
throws me
comes to this
through a loop
house,
when I
save this
hear James Wan's
family,
Australian
exorcise
accent.
whatever evil's in this
Yeah,
house,
it's a little.
and that's the end of the
I was
movie.
not
I feel like
expecting
there's
all the
more
time.
we can
Never ready
explore,
for
and
it.
the Warrens have have had many stories where they've helped police investigate different cases and help find missing people and stuff like that. So I felt like this would be a natural direction to go into that is something a bit different. And so when I pitched that to Patrick and Vera, they just loved it. They loved the idea of just doing something a bit different as well.
Yeah, I think Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2 were very insular movies. They were strategically haunted house movies, and we were kept within the confines of these houses. And what we could explore is corners of the houses, and the investigation was sort of kept to that space. And we bust out in Conjuring 3 and step outside the walls of the Glatzel's house.
This is the story of Arnie Johnson, and he was a 19-year-old kid in the early 80s who became possessed by a demon. He murdered his landlord, went to trial.
Allegedly.
In that trial, it was the first time in U.S. history that somebody claimed demonic possession as a defense. And that kicks off the story. The movie is really the Warrens' investigation, and it begins with them building a case for Arnie to support his possession. And they start to uncover something much darker.
I think every character in this script has an interesting story and a story to be told. And this story is based on true events. That's even more captivating. So that's what's interesting about the Conjuring series, is that it's based on true events. And we
You
want
can't
to watch
say that while she's
it's
at
not
this
like a
haunted
scary slasher film, which
underground
those are
labyrinth
great
table.
as well.
Based on
But
true
this
events.
one,
Like, well,
this
technically.
relates human experiences. And we want to follow the journeys of every character, particularly mine, of course.
Would either of you care for a moment?
No, thank
She's
you.
like,
We had
"Come
breakfast
Rousseau."
before we left. I'm Ed. This is my wife, Lorraine.
Yeah, these lovebirds met at 16 years of age. And as I understand it, as Lorraine has relayed to me, that it was love at first sight.
Can't even look at me.
Very much like it was like at first sight with us, wasn't it? And so, it's really sweet to be able to glimpse that. And there are flashbacks in the film that take you back to that, that very first moment where Cupid just like got out his arrow and bing!
Ow.
Got this guy. Ow. And we get to see it through
Oh,
these
yeah,
young
heart attack.
actors who are
Yeah,
so
come on.
delicious and
Careful with
so
it.
charming and really enchanting and who were really into each other.
Yeah,
from
it's very
what
sweet.
It had beautiful chemistry.
Yeah.
And you see that very famous story that Lorraine has told over and over again about, the great love of her life.
I think the first Conjuring movie, the second Conjuring movie, very, very different from each other. This one, it's a very investigative, almost like detective kind of movie too. It's not just, it is a horror film, but adding
It does have
adding
the
in
little
court drama essence to
Mulder
it.
and Scully
how
vibe
this
to
is
it.
kind of based off of a
Especially
of
when
a
they
police
link up with
report.
that cop and they're
Totally
driving
changes
through the
tone.
forest.
That alone
Yeah.
makes it very suspenseful too, and I think that this might target a lot of people who do kind of like that kind of drama, as well as the people who are, of course, big horror fans.
The name of the film is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and that is based on the trial of Arnie Johnson and his defense
we know.
of demonic possession.
Michael.
And that is really what kicks off the story.
Michael,
This is set in 1981, and it's really just the very beginning of the Satanic Panic. And, for people who don't remember it or haven't lived through it, I mean, that was a period of time in the U.S. of a lot of paranoia and, satanic frenzy. And there was, Satanism was on the rise, but also this sense of fear and, paranoia in this country that it was, reaching children through Ozzy Osbourne and rock music. And, so a lot of it was totally unfounded, but then you also had events like this that were very extraordinary. And there was other similar, satanic deaths and murders, which, are, tied into this film. And, that there was a lot of them if you actually, look it up in the throughout the 80s.
Yeah, when you play something that did actually happen, I'm sure there is a fundamental bedrock of reality which you have to build the story on. So it helps not to doubt the intentions of the characters and the motivations because they're real people. It also makes it a bit more risky that you have to respect that, the real people were involved in this story and there was severely tragic circumstances around it. And that we'll never truly know what exactly happened. And yet, when we play it and we extract these elements from the story, we have to act as if we do have certainty.
That we talked for Conjuring 3 for 2 hours, and then you're like, yeah, I'll just play a 12-minute video at the end.
Marty, tell me.
You are insane.
When I was working with Michael Schaves on
I
really... I
said
saw
Michael
a filmmaker
Schaves.
that really
That's
gets
tragic.
these
We've
kind
been
of
wrong
films.
this whole time.
He gets how important it
Schaves.
is to
Is that Chavez?
tell stories with characters that we care
it's
about.
not for me to say, is it?
No.
How important
Schaves.
the set pieces are as well.
like Hobbs
they
and
all kind of
Schaves.
go hand in hand.
Oh,
if you
the
care
movie.
about your
Good
characters,
trailer.
then your scares
Thank
are
you
going to
for
be more
that.
scary because you start feeling that these people
Not a
that
good
you love
movie.
are going to be
Well,
in
it's a
jeopardy,
good
and you want to see
trailer.
them get out of whatever
You just
sticky
said that twice
situations
in a
they're
row.
in. And Michael really gets
I
that,
had to
and
repeat it.
he has got a great eye for that, and has a sense of what needs to be done and how to do it. That I felt
You should
confident to
you should dye your hair like James
baton,
Wan
if
here.
you will,
Just a little bit of red
And-
wisp in
I
it.
was wary
should.
of Schaves. I'm like, how is anyone? James as a band leader is just like one of the most exuberant, ebullient, joyful people, supercharged with passion, and that's what I expect now with The Conjuring. And so when Schaves stepped up to the plate,
Oh, they did it again.
his energy
Schaves.
is
Schaves.
beautiful.
Yeah.
He's a real cheerleader. He can get the crew going, us going.
Patrick Wilson
in
must be
2
really
seconds
happy. You know
flat.
why?
With his
He got
command,
paid
his leadership,
twice
he has
for the
this
same thing.
silly joyfulness that
Yeah.
He's the
revs
star
us up with.
in 2
Schaves is
horror
wonderful,
series,
and
which are the same
he knows
series.
exactly what he wants,
He-
and
he
he will
paid
make
double.
sure he gets that.
And
shot.
No, he
more-
worked
Let
double.
me paint a
He
picture.
more
When
or
you walk on the
less
set,
plays the same
he's
character
got a happy
in
face,
both.
He's smiling, and he's always
What a
happy to
king.
see you. Well, let me tell you, the energy of the set comes from the top, and it's directed by the director. And with him having that incredible creative attitude and happy feeling of, wow, we're making a movie, let's do this. That energy, it's effusive. It just rubs off on everyone. And it certainly does on me. So anything he asks me to
Little
do,
kid
yes.
sledding
so,
on him.
Schaves is great. I love
How many
being on
times
set
are they
with
going to
him.
point out that we've been saying
Michael
his name wrong?
Schaves
Oh, ice cream.
is
Ice cream.
a very nice and sweet director that gets acting, and he gets actors, and we even have a secret handshake. I can't tell you because it's a secret, but we do
I
have
don't
a
know
secret
about this.
handshake. It's pretty cool.
I know even when James came very early on,
the
he knew
kid.
he was so happy because not only does Schaves have the skill set, but really as you hear us talk, it's so much about your attitude and
his ideas
and his passion for this project, for this to the excitement, this sort of unabashed excitement of I'm in the Conjuring Universe. It's great.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1, go!
I was hoping it would. I love doing it. I love working with this dude. I love, and it's even a greater family. You know, it's the crew as well that's been a part of this journey, and it's a family, and it's nice coming back and checking in with each other every 2 years, because we're all very, very connected, and it's a circus on set. Because as dark as the story we're telling, it's really an affectionate group of people, and there's so much good fun that we have.
What really sets this apart and makes it so exciting is, you know, you have all of the scares and the terror that you would expect from a Conjuring film, but it is set against this really incredible mystery. And I think it's a mystery that, you know, in a very deep way is
incredible
tied into
mystery?
what the Conjuring universe is all about.
It's scary.
It's scary.
It's scary, and it's haunting. It will stick with you.
I think that I really feel like audiences will love this film in particular because of the investigative part about it. How it is kind of like it's a bit of a crime story almost.
There weren't audiences.
And I also think that
HBO Max.
They'll love following.
Were you actually
this
alone
young
in the theater
couple.
when you saw
There
this?
hasn't been
No, I saw it with my brother.
a young couple yet.
Well,
It's mostly
were
just
there
been
other people?
families. And
I can't remember.
to see, you know, two people in their 20s
I think there's like a few.
go through this together, a very young, precious love. I think audiences will love that. At least I will. I think it's the sweetest thing ever.
This is a movie that's a roller coaster. It is scary as hell. And I think it's also a story that, you know, takes these characters into places that we haven't seen before. I think that, you know, with any story that, you know, carries across a series of films, I think that, you know, you want to see these characters pushed. You want to see them, you know, taken to their boundaries and really challenged. And I think that what this does for the Warrens is, you know, very unique and very exciting. And, you know, the emotional journey
I was
going to
say
on,
that
you know,
hallway
what ends up
that we just saw him walk
to them
through
in the end
looked a lot like
is very exciting.
Within the first few
Harker's
minutes, I think
house
you'll know you're in for a
from
much different ride
Monk.
than you've been on in
Yes, it
other
kinda
Conjuring
was.
films.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be scary. It wouldn't be a Conjuring film without being a very terrifying movie. But again, I think the fact that we're in a different location, the fact that it's a big movie. It is a big, expansive
with
movie.
the added action and adventure and
and a much different feel. So hopefully, as our audiences grow, they you know, we grow with them.
And the thing is, I don't think you have to see the first and the second to be dropped into this world.
Yeah, no.
If you're discovering it for the first time,
Sure.
you will not have needed that prior
That's right.
knowledge.
It's like an episode of Law and Order.
That was Conjuring 3 Behind the Scenes.
Wow.
So I was looking at the ratings. You gave it a 3 out of 5. I gave it 3.5. After rewatching this whole film and watching all of that, are you changing the rating or are you keeping it the same?
No, I think I'm sticking with 3.
Okay.
I think 3 is respectable for that. So in the end, I ended up giving the first 2 Conjuring movies both 4 stars.
Yeah.
And then in the grand scheme of ranking the whole Conjuring universe, 3 stars still puts this movie at 5th place.
Wow, okay.
So.
All right. Well, that was Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. We thought it would be the last Conjuring movie, but there's another one next year. So
Conjuring Last Rites, I think is what it's called.
Okay, so we'll probably review it when that comes out. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
But till then, Skyler, where can they find you, man?
You'll find me here on the podcast one last time for the spooky October season.
Yes.
As we're wrapping it up with
I'm sad.
2.
Yeah, I'm sad we're wrapping up this because, as you said, The Nun 2, we're going to review that. And of course, you can follow this podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, on all that, and at Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Until then, guys. Then. Yeah.